There's a brain hack so powerful. It's been quietly buried, not because it's dangerous to your health, but because it makes introverts emotionally untouchable. Not numb, not disconnected, just fully in control, even when everything around you is trying to break you down. If you're the kind of person who feels everything but says little, if you get drained by loud people, constant pressure, or your own overthinking, this is for you. This isn't surface-level mindset advice or motivational fluff. It's a real technique designed for quiet minds like yours, the ones that need protection without shutting down. And once you activate it, the noise won't get in. You'll still feel, but only when you choose to. Most couldn't handle it. You can. Part 1. The introvert's emotional trap. If you're introverted, you've probably been told you're too quiet or too sensitive, like it's something to fix. But the truth is, your brain processes the world on a completely different level. You don't just hear what people say, you feel what they mean. You pick up on tone shifts, energy changes, hidden tension. And while that makes you emotionally intelligent, it also means you absorb far more than most people realize. Over time, that constant intake becomes heavy. Not because you're weak, but because you're carrying things no one else notices. The emotional trap isn't that you feel too much, it's that you've been taught to keep it all inside. No outlet, no filter, just pressure building in silence. And the more you suppress, the more drained you become. You second-guess your reactions, downplay your needs, and convince yourself you're being dramatic when you're actually just overwhelmed. This isn't about being shy or quiet. It's about being overloaded in a world that never slows down. You don't need to fix how you feel, you need a system to manage it, because your sensitivity isn't the problem. It's your untrained mind trying to handle too much input without any real defense, and that ends now. Part 2. The lie. Emotional sensitivity is a flaw. You've probably heard it before. Stop taking things so personally, or you're too sensitive. It's said like a flaw, like you're broken for noticing what others miss. But emotional sensitivity isn't weakness. It's heightened perception. It means your brain registers more, feels deeper, and holds on to experiences longer. That's not a defect, it's data. But no one ever showed you how to use that data. Instead, you were told to quiet it down, numb it out, or ignore it. That's where the damage starts. You try to shrink your reactions, mute your instincts, and second-guess your own feelings just to seem normal. The truth is, this world wasn't built for emotional thinkers. It rewards quick answers, loud opinions, and surface-level responses. So, when you process slowly, feel heavily, and think deeply, it looks like you're falling behind, but you're not. You're just operating on a level most people never access. The real issue isn't that you're too sensitive, it's that you've been made to feel like you can't trust your own internal feedback. You were never taught how to convert emotion into clarity. That's why it feels overwhelming. Sensitivity becomes a strength only when it's understood, trained, and used with intention. And that's what changes everything. Part 3. The banned brain hack, emotional detachment protocol. There's a mental technique few people talk about because most wouldn't know how to use it properly. It's called controlled emotional separation, and for introverts, it's a game changer. This isn't about shutting down or pretending you don't care. It's about learning how to create mental space between you and the emotional chaos around you, so you stop absorbing things that don't belong to you. When someone snaps at you, or tension floods a room, your instinct might be to internalize it, freeze, or spiral in silence. But with this protocol, you interrupt that cycle. Here's how it works. First, pause. Don't react. Just notice the emotion trying to enter. Second, give it a silent label, something as simple as, "This isn't mine," or "Pause." That phrase becomes your mental switch. Last, redirect. Take a slow breath. Lock your focus on something neutral, your breathing, your posture, a simple visual point. That shift pulls your brain from the emotional center, the amygdala, into the rational part, the prefrontal cortex. This isn't just mindfulness, it's a neurological override. Elite negotiators and special forces use this exact method in high-pressure moments. For introverts, it becomes a quiet shield. You still feel, but nothing overwhelms you. Emotional control isn't suppression, it's selection. You choose what stays, the rest passes through. Part 4. How to train the protocol daily. Training your mind to use this emotional override doesn't require hours of discipline, it requires consistency. You're not trying to become someone else. You're teaching your brain to respond in a way that matches how you actually process the world. 2 minutes a day is enough to start. Quietly recall a moment that recently triggered you. It could be small, a passive-aggressive comment, a loud interruption, or that feeling of being dismissed. Replay it in your mind, but this time, insert the override. Pause, label, redirect. Visualize yourself handling it with full awareness and zero emotional leakage. The best time to do this is in the morning, when your mind hasn't yet absorbed the day's noise. That's when your thoughts are clean. Sit with your breath and mentally walk through a calm response. Anchor a phrase to your breathing, something short like, "I choose what enters," or "stillness stays." This pairing creates a mental cue your brain will recall under pressure. Eventually, when tension hits in real time, the override will activate on its own. Not because you forced it, but because you trained it. The key isn't to stop feeling. It's to build choice into the moment before the reaction. And for introverts, that space in between, that pause, is where all the power lives. Part 5. Bonus hack: the mental firewall visualization. Introverts naturally have vivid internal worlds, which makes visualization a powerful emotional tool not for escape, but for control. One technique that works exceptionally well is creating a mental firewall. Think of it not as a barrier to shut people out, but as a selective filter, one that only allows intentional, supportive energy to pass through. It keeps your emotional core protected, without numbing you or disconnecting you from people who matter. To build this firewall, find a quiet space, close your eyes and picture a glowing layer around you, color, texture, movement, whatever feels real to you. Then assign it a purpose. It's not decoration, it's function. As negativity approaches, visualize it hitting the filter and dissolving or bouncing off. It doesn't stick, it doesn't enter. But when someone offers genuine care, encouragement, or calm, it flows through easily. That contrast creates psychological separation without emotional coldness. This practice isn't make-believe. When done regularly, it strengthens your sense of emotional boundaries. You stop carrying every energy in the room. You stop absorbing moods that don't belong to you. The brain responds to visual input the same way it does to physical experience. When you visualize control, your nervous system believes it. And over time, that belief becomes a mental reflex. Quiet, clean, solid, fully yours. Part 6. Why this makes you emotionally untouchable. Being emotionally untouchable doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop being controlled by the emotional chaos around you. For introverts, this is especially powerful. You're already wired to think before reacting, to observe before speaking, but when you add control to that awareness, you become unshakable. People will still challenge you. Life will still throw noise your way. But it won't enter you the same way, because your clarity won't let it. Emotional triggers rely on openings, old insecurities, past reactions, overthinking loops. When those close, the triggers lose access. There's no place for them to land. Someone can insult you, try to provoke you, push your limits, but instead of collapsing, you choose how to respond. Not because you're faking calm, but because your mind isn't up for sale anymore. You don't take things personally that aren't personal. You don't internalize what isn't yours. That kind of control isn't about being hard. It's about being steady. Over time, people feel it. They sense they can't rattle you, and they adjust. Conflict starts to dissolve. Respect grows. Not because you demanded it, but because your energy doesn't react. It reflects. And in a world that runs on noise, nothing's more powerful than someone who remains completely centered. Most people stay mentally reactive their entire lives, stuck in loops they never question. You won't. For the next 3 days, practice the override once a day. Just one trigger, one pause, one controlled response. After each one, write it down. What hit you, how you reacted, what you chose instead. Then speak your override phrase out loud. "That's not mine," or create one that fits your voice. Comment it below so it's real, not just an idea. If you're ready to train a mind that doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, and doesn't absorb every storm, subscribe now. Quiet isn't weakness. It's power when trained.